What's going down? Back for another Thor's Thoughts. Game of Thrones, the season finale of season 7. So season 7, episode 7. I don't think I need to say that much. Season finale of Game of Thrones was tonight. I'm Thor. This is Thor's Thoughts. It was a pretty good finale. A little more setup for next season than I care for. But it was good to see Greyjoy get his balls back, even though he doesn't have any balls. But we'll get into all that. So let's recap this. Like I said, solid episode. Not the best season finale I've ever seen. Not the worst. It was good. So let's unpack it. So everyone gets to King's Landing in the beginning of the episode. They got the zombie White Walker dude. They all get there. Then Cersei gets there. Then Daenerys flies in on her dragon, just, kind of a show of strength. Gets off, comes down. She's like, we've been here for a while. Cersei says this to Daenerys. And then they're talking. There's a lot of back and forth between the Greyjoys and Tyrion. And there was just a lot of, everyone's kind of getting at each other. It was kind of nice, too, because the Hound saw Gwendolyn Christie, or Captain Phasma, which was dope. So they got to have a little talk that Arya's good and she's now just a murderer, which she plays a huge role in tonight's episode. Everyone got a good look in tonight's episode. Everyone got a good piece of their story furthered. But everyone starts off in King's Landing, and it's pretty tense. It's pretty tense to begin with. Then they obviously pull out the zombie, and Cersei's like, all right, I'm in with the truce. All Jon's got to do is swear that he won't pick a side. He doesn't have to bend the knee to me, but he can't bend the knee to you either. He's just got to stay neutral. And he's like, I can't. I already bent the knee to Daenerys. So Cersei gets pissed, storms off. Her and Tyrion goes to talk to her inside King's Landing. And it was a nice conversation because they kind of talked about all the stuff that has happened between them throughout. He was like, kill me if you want to kill me. The Mountain was there. And the Mountain and the Hound had a nice moment. Well, not a nice moment. It was kind of one of us is going to kill each other moment. But they had that when they were all meeting in the beginning part. But so he's like, kill me if you want to kill me, but whatever. I'm sorry. I feel bad about the kids. I love the kids like they're my own. But either way, do what you're going to do. But this threat's real and we got to handle it. And she ends up not killing him, obviously. He walks back. She comes back and she's like, you know what? Instead of having a truce, I'm going to send all my armies with you guys. We're all going to go fight the threat in the north. Then once the dead are defeated, we can go about fighting each other. So it's like, all right, cool. I actually wrote down no truce, JK, everyone to the north. Then we go up to the north, go to Winterfell, and Littlefinger and Sansa look like they're kind of going to screw everything up. They're kind of plotting together against Arya. Littlefinger's kind of talking about, I play a little game, like what's the worst somebody's after or something like that. And she's like, Arya came to kill me because I, betrayed our family, and she came to do me in. So then after that, we go back to everyone back at Dragonstone, and they're kind of plotting on where they're going to go. And all this is going on, and Greyjoy and Jon have a nice conversation. Theon Greyjoy and Jon have a conversation. He's like, I've always been torn if I'm a Greyjoy or a Stark. He's like, you're both. You don't have to choose. He's like, my sister needs me. He's like, so what are you standing here talking to me for? And it was kind of a cool moment because it really showed Jon's growth and what type of leader he is, and now how far he's come since the beginning to that true, real leader. So then Greyjoy takes off, and he goes finds all the Ironborns that left with them when they fled his brother and stuff, or his uncle. And the main one's like, we're going to go find the nearest island because we've heard the dead can't swim. So we're going to go find the nearest island, kill all the men, take all the women as our own. And he's like, we're done doing that. My sister took a pledge. And he's like, well, then stop me, pretty much do something about it. So the main dude kind of leading the group of men and Theon have a fight. Theon is getting his ass whooped most of the fight, like broken nose from a headbutt. He was looking rough. And he's like, I'm going to kill you. The other dude was saying to Theon. And then Theon had a comeback. He went to get kneed in the balls, and he doesn't have any balls, so it didn't even hurt. And you need him 5 or 6 times, which if you didn't have balls and had a huge scar tissue there, it would hurt probably worse than getting actually kneed in the balls. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure about that. But either way, That ends up happening, and then he ends up winning, obviously killing the other dude, just bludgeoning him to death. So then all those dudes are now with him. They're going to go get his sister. And then now we go back to Winterfell. So Sansa's standing on like one of the guard, in between the guard posts, where they kind of look out. And she's like, get my sister, bring her to the main room or whatever. So they bring Arya in, and it's just soldiers around the whole thing. And then they step in to close her in after she had come in. So you're like, oh man, she's really going to kill her sister and like F this whole thing up. Like, this is the start of, the downfall of the truce and all that whatnot. Then she's like, you're on trial for your crimes against my family, blah, 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 killing, blah, 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 blah. And then she says, Littlefinger. She doesn't say Littlefinger. She says Lord Basil. Nope. Whatever. Lord Baelish. Ha! I fucking got it. Lord Baelish. So she said, Lord Baelish, you killed my aunt. You plotted against my family. Brandon spoke up and said that he saw him, have a throat and said, or a knife to the throat, and said, you should have never trust me, from like way, way in the beginning of the series. A lot of throwbacks to a lot of stuff that's happened in all 7 seasons in this last season 7 episode. So then Arya slits his throat because she's like, that's not the knife you said it was. That's your knife. So it was bad. Littlefinger, done. Lord Baelish, donezo. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. He was like, I've always loved you, Sansa. I've always loved your mom. I loved you as well. So it got kind of weird, but they had to do him in. So we got kind of that. And then we go back to King's Landing, and Jaime is kind of preparing with all the generals on how we're going to get the armies to the north and stuff like that. And Xerxes walks in, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, I need a moment with my brother. And then she pretty much, she's the worst human being in Westeros, hands down. Because now she's going to double cross Jon Snow and Daenerys and the rest of them, so that she's going to let them go to the north, and then she's going to take back her lands, and she's got the Iron Banks army, the Golden Triad or whatever the fuck they're called. They're coming because at the I forgot to mention this. So at the beginning part where they're having the meeting, the Greyjoy uncle, I don't even remember his name. I don't even care. But he's like, I'm out of here. That's the scariest thing I've ever seen. I'm taking my army and we're going back to the Iron Islands, and we're just going to hide out there because they can't swim. Whatever, I'm out. Well, really, he's not doing that. He's going to pick up the army from the Iron Bank for Xerxes and bring them back to Westeros to help her reclaim her lands while they're all fighting in the north. So she's pulling a full double cross here. And it's an evil double cross. Jaime's like, I'm a man of my word. Like I'm taking them and I'm going up there. And she's like, no, you're not. And then the mountain's behind him, and he like pulls his sword out. And he's like, same thing as Tyrion. Like, if you're going to kill me, then do it. Like, if you're going to kill me, go ahead and kill me. And the mountain puts it away, and he kind of walks off. And that might be their split. I could see Jaime betraying her in the next season. Because this final season, they literally, like I said in the beginning of this, they set up a lot of stuff for next season. Maybe a little too much. So then Sam, not Tyrell, dang it. But Sam, Maester Sam, shows back up at Winterfell, and he's talking to Brandon Stark, and they're like, Jon's the real, like, heir to the throne. Like, the Targaryen dude and Stark's wife's sister ended up getting married. So now he's the true heir to the Iron Throne. Over Daenerys, over Cersei Lannister. Like, Jon's the man. And then at that same moment when they're talking about that, Jon knocks on Daenerys' door, and we finally got Daenerys and Jon hooking up. So we kind of thought it was going to go down that way. It did. I think we were all rejoicing at that moment. That was a great kind of montage between, and his real name is Aegon Targaryen. So it's heavy stuff. Like, there's a lot of things revealed in this. There was a lot, but like I said, a lot of plot laid for season 8, for the final season, which they kind of needed to do. And then we get to the end of the episode, which was an hour and a half episode, so there's a lot packed in here. And oh shit, the White Walkers are at the wall. The main Redbeard freaking wildling is up there with the eye patch guy. I'm not gonna learn all these names. I got enough down. That's as much as my brain can maintain. And all of a sudden they see all the White Walkers coming through the fields, and one of the White Walker like generals. So all the dead dudes coming, and then one of the generals riding the dead horse. Then we hear the dragon. If you watched last week's, I don't think we did one last week, but that was a really good episode. The dragon dies at the end of last week's episode, then they revive it and make it a dead dragon or a zombie dragon or whatever. So the Night King comes flying in on the dead ice dragon, I guess, and his fire is now blue, but it still did the destructive damage to the wall that fire would do, but it almost looked like ice. I don't know. Either way, it was destructive blue fire. The dragon sits there and like goes at the wall until it crumbles, like from like here to the end, and it's a long ass wall, but to the end of the wall to here kind of crumbles. So then at the end, all you just see is all the walkers walking through and the Night King on his dragon, and that's it. And then we're like, fade to black. Let's go season 8. Now, honestly, season 8 can't get here soon enough, although we're probably gonna have to wait like a year and a half. Who God only knows. And it's still going to be another short one. I think it's only going to be 7 or 8 episodes, just like this season was. But the last 2 episodes were extra length, so it pretty much was about 8 episodes. Still shorter than 10. I give this, it's an A-. It's an A-. It could have been better. It could have been better. But it was an amazing episode. Pretty good, amazing, borderline either way. A-. A lot of stories set for season 8. Last week was the big battle of pretty much the biggest battle of the season besides the gold battle from maybe a few weeks earlier. But season 7 was a win. I mean, I'm going to give season 7 overall giant A, A+ even. This was a magnificent season, kind of that season bridge to get to the last season and set everything up for the final battles and the final fate of Westeros. It's good. Watch it. That's all I can say. I got Rick and Morty in like 20 minutes, so another Thor's Thoughts coming on that. Episode 92 coming. We've been watching Defenders. We got you on that. I actually started Glow too, so I might throw that in episode 92. But tell me what you thought of the Game of Thrones season finale. I thought it was pretty good to amazing. A-. Overall, season 7, A. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. But this was Thor's Thoughts. Until the next video, like, share, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Deuces.